and he was wonderful in his semi-final
okay, so
win
Jose to throw for the bullseye
Daryl Gurney. An average for the entire tournament of 104.
25.
5 points better off than MVG. Can he do a job on Michael
25.
van Gerwen and beat him in the final to pick up what would be his 3rd PDC title? I'm Chris Murphy, and joining me for the decider, Paul Nicholson.
Cheers, Murph. Well, De Sousa has been due, let's put it that way, because if you think at some of the qualifiers for the European Tours, he has qualified but hasn't had the opportunity to play. But with the other Pro Tours that have been played this year, he hasn't had a massive run. So this one has been coming.
59.
Maybe today is his day, and there's nothing sweeter than winning a Pro Tour against a better player in the world, and they don't come any better than Michael van Gerwen. Just ask Ryan Searle when he won his title.
60.
He just had that extra cherry on the top of the fact that he beat van Gerwen in that final. And De Sousa wants that now.
Yeah, De Sousa beat Gerwin Price to win his first towards the back end of last year. Followed it up with another in Dublin.
140.
Yeah, he beat Glenn Durrant in that final, which is quite the achievement. But you were saying, Murph, about his proximity to the 60 in his last game. That was what impressed you. Yeah,
very, very tight. You'd have seen those boards where they sort of cover up and have a little practice area. It's a little window in the middle of the 60 that De Sousa has been hitting in or just above in the matches that I've seen today, particularly in that semi-final against Daryl
100.
Gurney. They were a bit spread out for him, but they resulted in his 21st maximum of the afternoon.
60 for double 18. It's interesting that, because 20 maximums into today's final is exactly what happened yesterday with Chisnell and Ryan Joyce.
65.
So strange.
Michael van Gerwen's mustered up a mere 8 180s, but he has had plenty of 170 scores. This is a break of throw in prospect here. Double top to steal a match. Great guide.
Game shot.
And used to great effect.
Just get the feeling that De Sousa over the last year has been a bit of a surprise. Because if you rewind back to the World Championships where he played Michael Barnard,
135.
on that fateful afternoon, he didn't show any of this. He was beaten by Barnard.
96.
Then you think, what's actually happened? Well, he's always had this ability, but everybody needs an injection of confidence. And they need the backing as well. And that's what he's had in the last 18 months. And he has become a very different player.
Yeah, he popped up in the
60.
2012 World Championship and lost a prelim match to a relatively unknown Devon Peterson in that tournament.
100.
Didn't hear anything of him for the next 6 or 7 years, and then all of a sudden got his tour card and started doing some real damage.
He's based in Spain now, isn't he? Actually living in Portugal.
136.
I think he played a lot of soft tip darts as well in that period, which is not uncommon in the Iberian Peninsula.
59.
Well, he's a better player so far. There's no getting away from that. Is he going to go for this?
Yeah.
145.
He goes for everything. If there was an ability to get 160 with 4 double tops, he would try
134.
Well, I'll come back to that in a moment, because he did try something similar against Michael van Gerwen in their only other meeting. Right now, it's a simple double 12.
Game shot.
Easy as you like. Yeah, the pair of them met in Gibraltar, obviously as good as a home tournament for Jose. And Michael won the match 6-3.
60.
De Sousa at one point did go for 3 double tops for 120. Actually ended up busting his score.
He's never been known as the greatest darting mathematician.
100.
That was more accident than arithmetic.
Got the leg count wrong in the last match.
Yeah, speaking of arithmetic. He was
96.
going in for the mimed handshake with Darryl Gurney after 6 legs in a race to 7. Ended up losing the next 2.
Well, Van Gerwen's only averaging 93 in this game, so he's got to get a move on. It is first to 8. It is a longer match. But you can't let De Sousa out of your sight.
133.
Just took a moment to focus before that visit, Michael Van Gerwen. He knows that he can't afford to let his opponent scamper away much further.
59.
He's left a number here where he can 180 to leave a double. That's not an accident.
180.
Well called, well noticed, well done, both Paul Nicholson and Michael Van Gerwen. His first of this final.
180.
His second.
Might have to move.
16.
He should have.
It's all a bit rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just gets the feeling that he expects it to go in, when in fact he's got to work to get it in. Whereas De Sousa now is taking his time and thinking this shot through, which now is for 3-0.
97.
Well, that would have been some punishment. Van Gerwen cannot afford to be sloppy
Game
again, isn't. And halves the deficit. Did have to come from behind in the final a couple of days ago against Peter Wright. Had to reel off the last 3 legs. And you were saying, Paul, earlier on that you have rarely seen a player as comfortable producing great escapes as Michael Van Gerwen.
Yeah, he's a good poker player.
93.
And by that I mean he doesn't tend to show how much stress he is under. He's probably like a swan. Calm on the top, but inside flapping a little bit, but able to
41.
keep things calm enough so he can perform at his optimum.
Yeah, and there's probably not a point in any match where he will accept that he's beaten
96.
until the referee calls game shot.
Yeah, he doesn't panic. You don't win what he's won panicking. Other players, we can probably say that they have panicked a little bit, but not Michael.
97.
Well, this is an off leg for De Sousa. Hasn't managed to record a 3-figure visit in it. 2 of them very lacklustre, 24 and 41 he opened with, but Michael Van Gerwen is not really punishing him.
He's not playing anywhere near as well as he did earlier against Chris Storby. And he's not playing as well as he did in purple patches against Jeff Smith as well. And De Sousa, you can't fault him for leaving 159 because he's hit a maximum before this. But Van Gerwen will get a shot at the 130 that he's left. The interesting thing is, though, to get to 130, he's not had a ton shot from here.
95.
Which is very, very unusual for Michael. This is a big, big visit here. Top left corner. What a shot for Bull.
Game
Just as good a finish as you will see all day long. Because the measurement of that second dart was pinpoint.
He knew it, and so did his opponent. Many players would have stopped and looked at the awkwardness of that first dart, but 100. Michael Van Gerwen picked his spot, found it, picked another one, and found the smallest target on the board as well. 2-2.
If you guys are having a practice at home, either right now or tonight, put that dart 45. In the board in the same angle and try and hit the left-hand side of that 60 without even disturbing the other dart. Made it look easy, and it was anything but.
Michael Van Gerwen's route to today's final included victories against Alan Tabben, Kim Hybrex and Rob Collins before a couple of excellent performances against James Wade 59. And Chris Dobie. The match of the Summer Series so far for me, that one in the quarterfinals. And then he defeated Canada's Jeff Smith in 55. The semis.
You have to say that maybe game of the day belonged to De Sousa against Danny Noppert, where he averaged 107, but Noppert was 2 more in defeat. And since that game, De Sousa has been nothing but delightful, really. 105, 102, 106.
Yeah, wins against 2 of the world's top 10 at the back end of the tournament in the form of Gerwen Price and Daryl Gurney.
93.
Led the world number 1 2-0 in this decider, but that is about to be turned on its
Game
head.
shot.
Fair play to the world number 1 for the way he's responded in the last couple of legs. Because De Sousa today, if you look at the results, he's not been in much trouble. Ever since his
97.
first game against Adam Hunt, where he won 6-1 with 109 average, his highest of the day. You do
100.
wonder what he's got in the tank, and you get the feeling it's plenty. Somewhat old school haircut
55.
there of Jose De Sousa as well. There's not many people you see down the street these days with a flat top. How many barbers have even got the flat top
60.
leveler in their arsenal? Maybe he's got his own.
Yeah, a guillotine for cutting paper with.
140.
Been a cut above the rest over the course of today. But Michael van Gerwen is a different beast altogether.
Looking for the 171 to leave 170.
95.
He always does that on 3-4-1. He'd much rather leave 170 than 161, and I actually think that is the right play.
$87.
Are we looking at a game that will be level after 6? Are we looking at another final that's going to go all 15 legs?
100.
We've mentioned De Sousa's couching a few times. He got away with that one. Found the treble 20. Would have left 162 had he not. Treble 18. Can't find it. Van Gerwen will get the opportunity
90.
to break again, but needs a big shot to do it.
He's going 20s. Double 13.
Game shot.
Oh, how good is that? Look where De Sousa's sitting on double 16. That's world number 1 quality. Turned up to the max. No emotion from the Portuguese until the small shake of the head. Oh, that was delightful.
Yeah, and he let his opponent know.
140.
He let us all know what it meant to him. He knew how big that shot was.
I honestly thought he was going 619s, Murph, for the double 16 shot. I really did think that, because when he's in
100.
trouble or when he needs a friend, he always goes treble 19. But he didn't even look south. He knew he was going 60s from well before
100.
dart 1.
Perhaps does not feel troubled at the moment. Felt the freedom to go that way.
140.
And it's one-way traffic right now.
You have to say that De Sousa has regressed statistically in this match. He's come down by about 10 from the semis. And Van Gerwen is starting to motor. 140, ton, 174 to leave 87. And he's moving very fast right now.
Has to find another.
140.
Does. Will he come back? Double 5 says no.
77.
But it says no to Michael van Gerwen. De Sousa had the 1-2-1 in the semi-final against Gurney. Can he repeat the feat here?
No, he cannot.
65.
Van Gerwen had trouble on double 5 in the semi-finals. No
Game
such
shot.
trouble here as he takes leg 7, and he is 3 in front after a start that was brighter for the Portuguese.
A 5-leg burst from the best player on the planet.
180.
De Sousa not flustered, unfazed.
126.
De Sousa might have been the better player coming into this final, but ultimately the pressure's always on Van Gerwen being the world #1 and the best player in the world to get the result.
Particularly after losing in the third round yesterday.
95.
Beaten by Mike Kyvenhoven.
Just goes to show the best players in their sport do have off days.
125.
They're not machines.
He is pretty realistic, Michael Van Gerwen. He did say that he was capable of winning all 5 of these tournaments, but I thought it was interesting that he pointed out that anything can happen. Survived match darts against Willie Borland on day 1 and went on to win the title.
138.
88 left for De Sousa when he comes back. Under what pressure?
114.
Double 14 for an 11.
60.
Doesn't get it. He's offering too many chances to Michael Van Gerwen. This may be an outside chance, but he's already taken a 146.
Not going to add
134.
another string to the bow just now. Checkouts of 130 and 146. Has left himself on double 1. And we'll have to go for it.
Was that a dead cat 134?
24.
I think it was, you know.
He quite likes double 1. He does this, and invariably he hits it.
Game shot.
You're talking about the 10 darter and double 1. He loves to do that, doesn't he? 180, 139, 180, double 1.
Does what he wants, Michael Van Gerwen. Didn't like that.
77.
De Sousa had plenty of chances to get rid of that leg. He's missed his chances. If you look at the way he's played today,
43.
there's only one other game where he's played at this level, and that was against Aaron Beeney in round 2, where he averaged 94 to win 6-2.
180.
But this is not going to get it done when Van Gerwen's in this mood.
It seems like it's all but over.
100.
We'll have to settle for number 2 against the world #1.
Well, he's had the
59.
experience of a very, very tight victory and had to utilise the comeback card on Wednesday. Doesn't want to have to utilise anything of that kind of pressure again. Well,
180.
De Sousa is scrapping here very, very well, but it's still out of his hands.
97.
25 180s for the day for De Sousa. Couldn't manage the 88 in the previous leg. Can Van Gerwen show him how it's done?
Double 14. And he misses as well. Well, De Sousa with that 2 treble 18 visit previously leaves himself on 50 and now tops to start the comeback.
Game shot.
Oh, that's central. That's an epicenter dart on tops. Very, very accurate.
And it is a break of throw for De Sousa. So let's not write his obituary in this final just yet. That is dead centre as well. Absolutely perfect.
140.
And there is that point, those magnetic darts in that little postage stamp of a spot around that treble 20.
84.
One thing we do know is that Van Gerwen sometimes does go to sleep in games that are of this length. So he can't afford to do that right now.
Yeah, his biggest
100.
weakness, if you are to really scratch around for something about Michael Van Gerwen's game that can be improved on, and it's something that he's admitted himself, is that sometimes he thinks the game's won and kind of loses his concentration.
That's something that De Sousa will not do, because he knows that if he makes any mistakes here, he's going to be punished. He's got a decent advantage here, but it's going to be eaten into and surpassed.
140.
Still advantage De Sousa though. 105 or more needed.
We may see that 180 to leave double 1 in a moment, Paul.
42.
I'm not so sure. because De Sousa has left a bogey number from 201.
Yeah, that is a mistake that he really could not afford. And now Michael van Gerwen will look to cancel out that break of throw and move within a single leg of doubling up at the Summer Series.
Interesting approach there from De Sousa, at least double 13. It's probably in vain though.
Game shot.
And is. That tops has been really good to Michael van Gerwen today, especially in that deciding leg with Chris Dobie, where he took out the shot and denied Dobie another shot at double 93 9 to take it to leg 11. Absolutely key shot there from van Gerwen, just to palm off De Sousa at that vital moment.
Started slowly in this final, Michael van Gerwen, but has grown stronger and stronger throughout it. Has won 7 of the last 8 legs to put himself in this position. Surely, if there is such thing as an unassailable deficit, this is it for De Sousa.
You'd think so. If van Gerwen was to win this match, he'd find himself on £21,000 for the Summer Series Order of Merit. And
140.
No matter what anybody does tomorrow, that would mean he would top the table going into Sunday.
Yeah, so those players harbouring hopes of topping the Order of Merit and getting a Grand Slam spot might have another thing coming.
180.
There you have a little exhalation from the man in green, because he knows when he returns he's going to have 3 at double 14 to get the job done and bank another 10 grand onto his Order of Merit
34
and another title to the list.
Game shot and the match, Michael van Gerwen.
And Michael van Gerwen doubles up at the Summer Series, wins 8 of the last 9 legs against Jose De Sousa to win his 2nd out of 3 events so far. It was Ryan Joyce sandwiched in between. A difficult day for MVG yesterday, but he wins on day 1 and he wins again on day 3.